Hello everybody and welcome to Thief. Now this is one of my favorite games, and I promised you all in my Minecraft LP that I would attempt to do an LP of this, so here we go. This is a game released by Looking Glass Studios in 1998, so it's fairly old, but even though the AI is a bit dumb for modern age and stuff, it had some very big steps for its time period, and I think some of those do actually hold out pretty well. But I'll explain those as we go through the tutorial level, kind of give you an intro to the game as we do that. So without further ado, here is Thief. The essence of balance is detachment. To embrace a cause, to grow fond or spiteful, is to lose one's balance. After which, no action can be trusted. Our burden is not for the dependent of spirit. Maiar, third keeper.
I was a kid. No parents, no home. Running messages and picking pockets to keep my ribs from meeting my spine. One night I saw a man. Folks just passed him by like he wasn't there. I thought he must have something valuable, so I snuck up on him and made a grab.
That's not for you.
Please, sir, I'm hungry. Don't tell the Hammers, I promise.
What is your name, boy?
Garrett.
You have talent, lad.
Let go of me, old man.
To see a keeper is not an easy thing, especially one who does not wish to be seen. We have a need for those as gifted as yourself. If you've grown tired of how you live, then follow me, and we will show you a different way.
Leave me alone.
As you wish.
I caught up with him just before he vanished into the crowd. It was the beginning of a very long education.
Alright, so this is just basic intro screen before we enter the level. Usually there's a bit of a equipment buy-in at this time, but because this is the tutorial, there is none. 3 difficulties, of course I'm playing on expert. I want to give myself a little bit of a challenge. But let's see what it looks like.
Welcome, young Garrett. In the nearby rooms, I will instruct you in the various skills you will need to survive. Please stay in the entrance area to each room while I explain the room's purpose. When you are ready to begin your lessons, proceed down this hallway to the first room.
So, this is the game, and that up there is Keeper Artemis. We're currently in the Keeper Sanctuary compound, whatever you want to call it. But right now we're playing as young Garrett learning the ways of the Keeper, which is kind of a stealthy group of observers in the city, which is actually called the City. There are a few groups kind of not vying for power, but just helping with the balance of the city. That's kind of the theme of the game, but you'll pick up on that. You can just see this guy's just kind of running circles up there, showing off a bit of the sound design. It's one of the few things, but we'll see the rest of the things that make this game important up ahead. So yeah, old textures, not so great colors, but you'll see what makes it special.
You must learn how to move unseen. Stay in the shadows. Avoid the light. The indicator on your screen will tell you how visible you are. Try to reach the top of the platform without being seen.
So there we are. You can see down at the bottom, that's called Light Gem, and it's black, and when the little side goes yellow, it means we're slightly visible, but not enough for that guy to see us. We're just got to stay in the black and we'll be fine. And this is one of the first marvels of this new game engine. Bear in mind, this is the first first-person stealth game ever to happen in actuality, so the lighting engine was one of the things that actually made this game turn from its original plans into the stealth game that it now is. And so you can actually see if you, later in the game you'll be able to actually affect light sources, and that'll actually affect how the shadows are cast and where they're going. But for a 98 game, this is revolutionary. I mean, yeah, your character models don't have shadows, but the fact that they're all over is amazing.
Well done. I did not see you approach.
Open this door to continue. When the door is near the center of your screen, it will light up, indicating that it is selected. To manipulate selected doors and other objects, use them.
So that's a fairly basic
Good.
mechanic there.
Proceed down this corridor for your next test.
Oh boy, I hope this test is just as hard. And you can see it shuts behind me. I don't know if it's openable. Nope, it's locked now. But yeah, let's see what's going on in this one.
Now you must learn to move quietly. Some surfaces are louder than others when walked upon, and moving quickly makes more noise than moving slowly. Listen to your own footsteps to hear how much noise you are making. The instructor will have his back turned. You must get to the top of the platform without being heard.
Now, this is the second part of the game that was kind of revolutionary and kind of made it this stealth game that it has become, is the fact that there's a really good sound design, and those AIs up there, they actually react very heavily to sound, can kind of use it as a mild direction towards you. And yeah, you can see here the metal tile set and the carpet that I'm on will make very different sounds. And let's see if I can where's my creep button? Creep very slowly. See, so there are ways to get across the metal so they don't hear you. I will have to rebind the controls because originally there's a creep button and I had to kind of just jerk forward, but normally, yeah, you could even just creep across that in the game.
Very good. I did not hear you traverse the room.
You're kind of deaf then.
Beyond this door is a hallway that will lead you to your next task.
So now it's not a test, it's a task. So yeah, as you can see, it's it looks fairly basic at this point, but that's because the origins were fairly basic, and we'll see what it was based on just up ahead.
Now get your weapons. To pick up objects, select them by centering them on screen until they light up. Then use them. Choose your weapon now. Try readying your sword, and then your bow. You can always put them away again if you need your hands free. Now let's go out to the courtyard for some target practice.
So the original concept for the game, I think he might talk, so I'm going to stay here, was something called Dark Camelot, and it was kind of an Arthurian reversal in which Arthur was this evil despot, and you were actually trying to overthrow him with the help of, I can't remember, but I believe it was Morgan Le Fay was kind of like a good revolutionary. But anyways, yeah, that was the original concept, and it based a lot on this sword fighting mechanic, which you'll see up here.
Ready your bow. Knock an arrow and draw back the string by holding down the attack button. Make sure you draw all the way back, or your shot will not have full power. Take aim, and when you are ready to shoot, release your attack. See if you can hit one of these targets.
Now I've warmed up with this game a bit, so let's see how good I remain. That square there is kind of the aiming reticle, and you'll learn to. Ooh, huge drop off.
Good shot. Keep practicing if you wish. When you are ready to proceed, approach the training dummy and ready your sword.
So there, you can see kind of how the how it works. You can retrieve arrows, you can shoot point blank, and there's some specific types of arrows which you'll see later on, which actually fly completely horizontally or straight. So you don't have to worry about the drop off. But yeah, it's a pretty good archery mechanic, and when you use it a lot, you can get very, very good at it, as you can see. Alright, let's see what this dummy's got.
Swing at the target with the attack button. A quick tap will give you a slash. Move the tip of your sword to the left of the target for a left slash, and to the right of the target for a right slash. Hold the attack button down, then release for an overhead swing. Try both slashes and the overhead swing on the practice dummy.
Now, that's kind of, there's two attacks that you mostly do by clicking. Now this mechanic actually is pretty good, but in my playthrough you're not going to see it a whole lot because I tend to go a stealth playthrough. But that's the basic attacks. Now, if you click and hold, you'll see your arm go up. And that's
Good
the
job.
final
You're ready
attack.
for a live opponent. To practice against your partner, enter the cobbled sparring area.
Ooh, sparring area. Cheap shot. Ooh. So, one of the ways this game has been kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Broken is through circle strafing. You just strafe around an opponent and you can usually get free hits in. Granted, you can't run into them. My frame rate's hurting a bit.
If you wish. When you are done, leave the sparring area.
But there's also the block, and as intended, the sparring's actually hard. It's just that kind of feature, shall we call it, that makes it a bit easier. Alright, I'm gonna leave so he
That's enough
goes.
sparring for today. Please walk over to the table. Would you care for some refreshment before we move on, young Garrett? Please pick up all of the items on this table.
I currently only picked up the key. But that is because there is a secret in the game up here. And this is quite important, I say. Yes, Looking Glass kind of has a thing for the basketball court. Boom. But yeah, it's just a little hidden Easter eggy area. But the cool thing I thought, and I'll scroll through them briefly, is this here, which is not just a bedroll, but actually a giant roll of quotes. So this is, some of these are just silliness, and some of these have to do with, well, the development of the game, and I'll show you a few of them that I quite like that maybe don't make sense first of all. This is one of my favorites. You can see that the AI had still some issues because it may be that he finds the sound of the arrow entering his body slightly suspicious. Game velocity, I'll show you an interesting trick later on, but yeah, it has a interesting way of calculating fall damage, shall we say. Anyway, so that's just a little Easter egg. Hey buddy, how's it going? If I want, I can get in a cheap shot. But I don't think he'll come after me. No. So after I leave here, the gate will shut, so you kind of have to get in there before he goes in. Alright, let's see what else we have here. Apple. Very crunchy.
Cycle through your inventory to see the objects you have in your pockets. Once an object is displayed, you may use it. Have something to eat if you wish. Then you may proceed. The next test is waiting on the other side of the metal door.
So there you can see health potions, and they don't give you instant health, but regenerate over time, so it's a bit of a tactical choice
The
when
door
to
is
use
locked,
them.
but the key from the table will open it. To unlock the door, select the key in your inventory. Center the door on screen until it lights up. Then use the key on the door.
Well, there's also a compass, and although they don't show you, there is a map. And the map in this game is rather interesting because it doesn't show you exactly where you are, just approximately, which makes traversing some areas kind of maze-like, which I think adds to the challenge myself. But let's use the key on the door.
Good. Now head down this hallway to get to your next test.
Like a master thief. I think this is the final test.
Now you will learn new movement skills. First, climb the rope by jumping onto it.
Alright, so
Move while looking up or down to climb up or down the rope. Turn to change your facing. If you jump again, you will release the rope. Now
So
climb the rope to get to the top of the platform.
Thank you. So you can see it swings a little bit, but you can't actually grab it. You have to actually do is jump. Then your character will kind of grab the rope.
Well done. Run and jump across the gap to the other side of the stream.
So that's another thing in this game is there's actually almost every surface you can climb on if you can get up to it. There's not really much in terms of invisible walls. They're all quite visible. And it makes the game, there's a bit of a meta game in this in terms of stacking things, reaching unreachable places, and seeing things that the devs maybe didn't quite want you to see. But let's continue. Alright. Hop, skip, and a jump.
Good jump.
I wonder if I fall if he says
This
crap
obstacle
jump.
is easy to climb if you know how. First, move close to the wall. Next, jump to grab the edge of the wall and pull yourself up. Good job. I am most pleased with your progress.
Most
You
pleased.
have passed the last test for today. If you wish, you may stay to practice your climbing and jumping, or swimming, ducking, leaning, or crawling. When you are finished, you may return to your chambers by going through that red door. Farewell.
So yeah, this is actually something that seems very basic, but you'd be surprised the number of games even nowadays that don't have it. And it's so useful just to mantle up on top of something, is the term they use. It makes overcoming obstacles easy, but it adds that extra little bit of time that sometimes adds a bit of difficulty. Enemies, however, can't mantle at all, so up here I'd be completely safe except for arrows. But that's the interesting thing. So, the only other thing I didn't cover was the swimming. So, as with most games, you fall in the water, you don't take fall damage. And, yeah, to get out, you can either mantle on the sides here or walk up the ramp. Don't know if this is, yeah, that's too high to mantle. So, I think we're pretty much done this little obstacle course. Now, there's not a whole lot of first-person platforming, but there is some, and it does get to be mildly annoying for some people. Now, if I just fell off here, I'd probably take fall damage, so there's a way to negate that. Just run and catch that. I could have also fallen down on those steps, but that's not as fun. So, thank you all for joining me in the tutorial level here of Thief. Not much thievery going on yet, but we shall see some once Garrett decides the keepers aren't quite for him.
The keepers were training me to be one of them, but I found other uses for those skills.
Shiny. So we just completed that most difficult of missions, and there's also stats thing here, although it only tells us that we spent 13 minutes, 14 minutes there. But in other games, it'll give us stats about how many times we were caught and a whole bunch of other things. So yeah, you'll hopefully through the series of this figure out why this is one of my most beloved series. This won't be, quickest run through as I can do. This won't be the most accurate. This will just be a normal run through. And so hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you get a bit enthralled with the story, get to know the city as a character almost better, and get to fall in love a bit with Garrett. Alright, thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you next time.